Welcome everyone to Week 11's Three Things to Watch. Carly Smith here with Rob Washburn, recapping first another awesome week of CAA football. Once again, we saw Rhode Island rally back from an 11-point second-half deficit to defeat Monmouth. Stony Brook with a gutsy overtime win against Bryant. Roland Dempster just loves the end zone, doesn't he, Rob?
Yeah.
Villanova was tried and tested, but pulled out the win against Hampton. How about Brendan Bell with a touchdown that proved to be the difference while taking his first career offensive snaps? Mark Ferrante got a smile after that one. New Hampshire back to their winning ways with impressive performances on both sides of the ball against UAlbany. Rob, what else did you witness?
Yeah, Carly, Richmond got a dominant performance from its defense with 7 sacks and a pick 6 to defeat Towson and extend its winning streak to 7. William & Mary scored points on 7 of its first 8 possessions and rolled in a road win at North Carolina A&T. And speaking of offense, Elon put 50 points on the board against Campbell as the multi-talented Chandler Brayboy accounted for an FCS best 309 all-purpose yards. Carly, 3 weeks to go, and the most competitive race in FCS football features 5 teams separated by just 1 game at the top of the standings.
Here we go. Those 3 weeks are going to be interesting, and all focus is now set on the next one. Our first thing to watch features 2 teams with various weapons on both sides of the ball. New Hampshire hosts Monmouth, and Rob, we know Seth Morgan and the Wildcats offense can be electric, but shout out to the defense. 3 shutout quarters last week in their victory against UAlbany. That defense will be tested against a Monmouth offense that, as Coach Rick Santos said, puts up video game-like numbers. They really do. The Hawks had the lead for 3 quarters against the top-ranked Rhode Island last week, put together a 60-minute performance, and that team can be scary. Rob, your thoughts?
Yeah, Carly, you set the stage perfectly for this one. When you look at the stats in conference play, Monmouth is the CA's top offense at 36.5 points per game, and UNH is the CA's top defense, giving up just 16 points per contest. Now, the Hawks, as we know, are led by quarterback Derek Robertson, who has already passed for over 2,800 yards and 23 touchdowns, and ranks among the top quarterbacks in FCS. His receiving group is deep and talented, and 5 players having tallied 26 or more catches, topped by Josh Derry and TJ Spade. Now in the backfield, Sonny Into leads the nation with 20 rushing touchdowns. They will go up against a UNH defense that has held their last 4 CAA opponents under 320 total yards. It starts up front with defensive ends Josiah Silver and Flex Ruiz, who have combined for 15.5 sacks and 25 tackles for loss. But transfer safety Wande Owens has made a huge impact in the secondary with a team-high 81 tackles, and he added a 50-yard pick 6 at UAlbany last Saturday. Monmouth has scored 28 or more points in 4 of their last 5 CAA games. UNH has allowed 17 or less in 4 of their last 5 CAA games. Which one will win out on Saturday?
Here we go. Let's hear from New Hampshire's Rick Santos and Monmouth's Kevin Callahan.
First and foremost, I think they're extremely well coached. They're disciplined in all 3 phases. From an offensive standpoint, they've been putting up video game-like numbers since they got in the conference a couple of years ago. They can run it. They can throw it.
I think they force you to be extremely consistent on the offensive side. If you're going to gamble and take a shot, you better have a pretty good chance that you're going to succeed with it. They have the ability to get up the field and harass the quarterback. As I said, they have a number of sacks just from the defensive end position.
That game airs at 1 p.m. on Flow Football. Okay, up next, let's highlight a matchup that's turned into quite the rivalry over the years. William & Mary hosts Elon. Let's be honest, both of these teams played like they were shot out of a cannon last week. And bunker down, folks, because there's no slowing down in Week 11. Chandler Brayboy, oh my goodness, accumulated 309 all-purpose yards, the most in FCS this season, in Elon's 50-27 victory over Campbell. Darius Wilson moved into second place on the Tribe's career list for total offense in his standout performance against North Carolina A&T. William & Mary scored on 7 of its first 8 drives. All gas, no brakes. Rob, what are your expectations?
Yeah, Elon and William & Mary has developed into one of the better rivalries in all of the CAA. They're similar type schools and football programs, and the play on the field has been very competitive with 5 of their past 6 games decided by 8 points or less, including a 5-overtime thriller back in 2019. Now, both teams are stocked with weapons on offense. You mentioned Elon's Chandler Brayboy, who is leading the nation in kickoff kickoff returns and had 8 catches for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns against Campbell last week. Quarterback Matthew Downing is coming off his best outing of the season with 251 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Rushawn Baker added a career-high 154 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Now, on the other side, multi-talented Tribe quarterback Darius Wilson shook off a rough outing at Stony Brook and accounted for 306 yards of offense and 3 touchdowns last Saturday at A&T. Bronson Yoder and Malachi Emo combined for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground, and receiver Hollis Mathis had a career day with 10 catches for 121 yards. This has the feel of a shootout that will come down to the wire.
Here's what Elon's Tony Trisciani and William & Mary's Mike London had to say.
They are very experienced on offense. They run the ball as well as anyone in the country with the 1-2 punch of Yoder and Emo, and a veteran quarterback in Darius Wilson who can beat you with his arms and his legs. He's efficient getting the ball down the field and can extend plays.
They're big, they're aggressive, they play fast, they run downhill, all those things. And so we've seen them over the years. They got the last couple, and you know, like I said, the good football team that even though we're here at our place, they beat us the last time at our place. And so, you know, we got to play better. We got to play much better.
1 p.m. on Flow Football. Get your popcorn ready and honestly keep it popping, because our third thing to watch features Delaware and Rhode Island. The Blue Hens welcome the Rams to the Tub. Rhodey's riding a 7-game win streak. Their dogs in the fourth quarter can really turn it on when their backs are against the wall, as we saw last week in their comeback victory against Monmouth. Delaware, they've had some much needed rest and have lethal weapons on both ends of the field. Excited to see Marcus Yarns and that running game flash some speed and shiftiness on Saturday. Rob, what are you looking for?
Yeah, Carly, this is one of the best matchups in all of FCS football on Saturday. Rhode Island's 8-1 overall, unbeaten in CAA play, and has achieved its highest national ranking since 2001, while Delaware's 7-1 overall and 4-1 in the conference. They're complete teams with high-powered offenses and aggressive defenses. Now, Rams quarterback Devin Farrell has passed for over 200 yards in 4 of his last 5 games, and top receiver Marquise Buchanan is coming off the best game of his career against Monmouth with 12 catches for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rhodey can also run it, as Malik Grant has tallied over 125 yards in 4 of the last 6 contests. Delaware has successfully used 3 different starting quarterbacks this season who have combined for 21 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions, and whoever's under center has gotten the ball to Phil Lutz, who's among FCS leaders with 32 catches, 652 yards, and 9 touchdowns. The Hens also feature one of the CAA's top running backs in Marcus Yarns, who received an invitation to the prestigious East-West Shrine game last week. Now, with all that being said, both teams are also solid defensively, ranking in the top 3 in the CAA against the run, and they have 23 sacks apiece. This is a fantastic matchup that will have feel and intensity of a playoff game.
Absolutely. Now let's find out what Rhode Island's Jim Fleming and Delaware's Ryan Hardy had to say prior to kickoff.
They got, a very solid offensive line that seems to move around, decent tight ends, good tight ends, wide receivers that can hurt you, the quarterback's hard, and so is the running back. On defense, their defensive front and structure are very difficult to contend with. I think their nose guard is extremely good. They're active at the second level.
They're really well coached. That's something that's been consistent in that program. And I think the thing that you've noticed grow over the couple of years, even from 22 to now, and I think a lot of those the student athletes are similar. Now they're just more experienced. But the talent has gotten deeper.
Tune into that one at 1 p.m. on Flow Football. Let's take a look at the full Week 11 slate. 7 games are airing at 1 p.m. All eyes on the Northeast as Stony Brook hosts UAlbany for the Battle of the Golden Apple. Maine hosts Bryant. How about the rookie Brennan Meyer in the QB spot? A bright spot for the Bulldogs. Really excited to see how Towson and Hampton play out. So much growth in both of those programs. Look at Villanova welcoming North Carolina A&T, and Campbell closing us out by hosting a Richmond squad that's now won 7 in a row and has the nation's leader in sacks in Jeremiah Grant. That guy can get after it. Wow, a great week ahead of CAA football. Follow along on social media at CAA Football and visit CAAfootball.com for results, recaps, and more. On we go.